This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the Dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for this day.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Financial Freedom Podcast. Today's episode is all about AI and how entrepreneurs, social media influencers can use AI to build their brands smarter, better, more efficiently. And with that, I have Audrey Wiggins. She is a smart brand builder teaching entrepreneurs how to do, and I'm really happy to have her on. Audrey, welcome.
Thanks, Chris. I'm excited to be here. Appreciate the offer.
Yeah. And briefly introduce yourself, and I'm excited to dive into the roundtable fireside.
All right. Yes. I'm a branding expert. I've been doing this since I was probably 15, but maybe formally I'm only 21. I know I look older from my age, but but anyway, so really got into it formally, say about 30 years ago. I started to do small business, helping with small businesses. And then it was more like just doing flyers and logos, the program booklets, that kind of graphic design, the print side, and that's that small visibility part of branding.
Yeah.
I've been taking it from there and just moving as technology changed. I move with the technology. So then we have our website, social media, on the way up now to artificial intelligence. So we have your traditional marketing and digital marketing. So it's been a fun journey and just been excited to be part of it.
Yeah. And you're also, so these days, are you more devoted to coaching or are you podcasting? Talk about what people come to you for, your ideal client avatar, your audience, and who you serve.
Yes, awesome. Thank you. I am podcasting, so the Tech Diva Biz Talk. So trying to come into my own with my little quirky personality there. But more consulting and coaching. And so I'm trying to wean myself off the hands-on, although that's my love, because that's where I started. So I'm going kicking and screaming. Okay, so I'm still doing it, but I've got to get the team behind me so they can take that over from me. But that's exciting. Happy to be part of that and just growing and just developing. I'm a lifelong learner.
Yeah, excellent. So we'll dive into the content and the questions right now. So talk about in this day and age of artificial intelligence, how should brand builders and thought leaders, influencers be thinking about AI when building their brand strategy?
Yes, absolutely. So integrating artificial intelligence into your brand strategy is not to necessarily replace anything, but just thinking about how fast things are moving. And so what can you do faster, but still have the quality there and still in your own voice? And that's where, for me, artificial intelligence comes into play. So it can just be a matter of, okay, let's do our forecasting, pull up the spreadsheet, throw it into ChatGPT or your favorite agentic platform and say, okay, I want to forecast. Let's do a forecast for 10% growth, 15, 20% growth. And it comes back from your spreadsheet, your P&L, and actually does every line item. So something like that, and get your feet wet. You're looking at changing your media plan, your social media plan, and it looks at, you can put in again what you've already done, or you can ask it to give you something new. And because I know one thing that I did, I thought was very exciting too, is that I have a few websites and I put all the websites in there and say, give me 365 tips from my websites, and then it comes back with that. Now I still have to read that stuff, right? So you don't get you don't get to set it, create it, and forget it. You better go through it. Because sometimes I know you may have heard people say that AI hallucinates or just can make typos or bring back the wrong information. So it doesn't get rid of the human factor in it, but that's a way to jump in or dive in and get your feet wet. Maybe you're already there, but you just want to take something to another level, like the tips, or oh yeah, I want to start putting out a Monday marketing blip, and that's a way to get started with that. Or whether you're going to do it verbally or visually with a like an infographic, or even say a TikTok video, a little bit short videos. Yeah.
Every minute your finance team spends wrestling with data is a minute lost. Insight Software's AI-powered insights instantly move you from complexity to clarity. Automated analysis, real-time reporting, strategic recommendations, all at your fingertips. Transform how your finance team works and watch your business grow. Stop wasting time. Start making smarter decisions. Learn more at insightsoftware.com/AI.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right. And naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Inc., Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
Yeah. And I see the conversation evolving in 3 kind of distinct questions. So first, what question I have for you is, what are the biggest branding mistakes entrepreneurs make and how can they fix them?
Okay. This is an old one, but we still repeat it. I haven't made, especially when it comes to the design side, is having maybe too many colors or too many colors touching or 4 or 5 different font styles. So you just want to, less is more. And so I would say like stick with a couple of colors because you still have black and white, right? Those are still colors, but they can be like the secondary. They can give you your 3rd or 4th color without overwhelming the visual and messaging. The messaging, I find it is so important. And even before I really knew that part of branding and marketing, it was always there. It seemed like I was always telling people, maybe you can say it this way. And so being clear. And that goes back to the avatar. You did ask me about that earlier. So who you're actually speaking to. And I finally came into that myself on my own, because when I started in business, I'm like, my avatars are small businesses, but I really didn't take a class or a workshop or wasn't coached in that. But if I had been, I would have chosen my market a long time ago. And perhaps it would have changed or evolved over the years, but I would have really narrowed that down, because small businesses can make anywhere from 10,000 a month to 100,000 a month. So it's a big gap there when you talk about small businesses. And yeah, so your messaging, knowing who you're talking to, and the impact that what we do or what you do has on the receiver or that market that you're trying to attract, not necessarily the laundry list of the features and benefits. So get that, but how does that make me feel if I use your product or sign up for your service? You know, what's that? Again, that my favorite word, impact. What's the impact of that?
Interesting. Moving on, the next question I have for you is, how do you help entrepreneurs balance embracing new technology with staying authentic and human-centered?
Yes. It's how you choose the technology, the artificial intelligence, whatever it is that you want to integrate. But always don't look for just, what are you going to do? How are you going to infiltrate that? All right. So we're going to choose, I mentioned before, start small or wherever and even if it's not small, the area that you know that you really could benefit from integrating AI or other types of technology into your workflows, choose that. Get some training. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. And so I love to help people in that area have that consultation, find out where it is that you need growth at. And okay, let's choose the right path, the right technology, and marry that together so that we can go from there.
Interesting. Another question I have is, or actually that's coming from the audience, is you talk about podcasting as such a powerful branding and marketing tool today? Why is that?
It's an extension of your marketing plan. Say, for instance, you put together your marketing plan. Okay, so we're going to promote on television. We're going to use the cable or the regular, your stations. We're going to go on some billboards and magazines. And so you're putting your budget together. So where else can you promote your business? You can promote it on podcasts, either a guest, like right now, I'm a guest on a podcast. So I'm promoting what I do here and how I can help folks, but also having your own podcast gives you a platform to share your voice. And it's the human side. People see you. They can almost touch you, right? But they begin to feel like they know you. Like in the old days of watching the weekly TV programs and your favorite hosts are on there. You feel like this person. If you were to see them walking down the street, you'll, oh, there's Chris. They want to run up to you and hug you like your old friends. But yeah, so that's what podcasting does. And it gives you a platform to show up as the expert in your field. And also, if you have guests, to bring others on, and so you can collaborate with that. But that gives you an opportunity to promote yourself even more.
Another follow-up question I have from the audience is, where does podcasting stand in comparison to, for example, an email list or a Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, social media channel?
Okay, so there was 3 things there: podcasting, email, and your traditional social media. Oh, wow. I would say podcasting and email are top. If we want to put them in order, let's do your email list, your podcasting, and then your social media. Because your email list, those are people that follow you and they trust you. They read your content, that they share it out. Not that they won't share some of the other things too, but those are the ones that are closest to you when you talk about it, an email list. And so I love for folks to definitely, you own the list and you can control that of the content, and then your podcasting again as well. So that's a medium that we just talked about. So I want to elaborate on that. And then social media. So you can stay plugged in. It's like your digital footprint, because people are looking for you in different places.
Interesting. And what about YouTube podcasting?
Oh, absolutely. Chris, that's how I got started. Not necessarily on YouTube, but I got started with video. So when you say YouTube, I equate that to just video, all fronts. And so my first shows were video. I didn't even know I was actually podcasting, but that's what I was doing. That was 2010 when I got started in that. And so that puts a face to the voice. And again, goes back to the like factor or the attraction factor of the relationship that you're building. And that way you get to really bring yourself over. You can do some different things. You can put some shorts or just put your whole shows on there. And I know the podcasting platforms do allow for sharing out onto YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. A follow-up question I have for you is, how does someone, because what I found interesting about the prior question was like, they look at podcasting as like a platform, like a kind of like an email list, but with audio and video. But how does one, like an entrepreneur or thought leader, social media influencer, go from having a podcast as a platform to becoming someone like a Mr. Beast or a Joe Rogan or a Diary of a CEO, like you have full-blown professional studio and mics and all of that?
Yeah, you start wherever you are, you start there. And that's where those guys or gals, that's how they started where we started. But I think the difference, we talk about niche and avatar, I think they really honed in and drilled down into who they were speaking to. And for operations like that, it does take a team. So it does take money to have those things operated and running. So that way you and I are just focusing on what we do, talk to the guests, share our expertise, and we shut it down, and someone else is worrying about doing the editing, the studio. And if you don't, while you're at home, but you can still have your home studio, or you have spare room or spare corner. I'm in a spare corner. And I did have a studio, but you just have the equipment that you need. And again, everything that I keep saying is you start where you are, you start from the beginning. So if you have a budget of $100 or $500, then you stick with that, but get the best that you can for that. And just when you're doing it, like we're sitting here, you don't see the whole atmosphere of the whole room, but there's things that you can only afford the mic, but you can't afford the acoustic foam to help with the tone. Okay, so somewhere around you, put up some garment racks with some blankets or quilts so that your sound is not bouncing everywhere. So it's a way they can do it, but consult with somebody so they can help you brainstorm and work that budget out, work it out for the budget that you have. And you can grow, yeah, but consistency, if I want to say that, I know it's the technology piece of it, but the consistency of going out there. If it's going to be daily, be out there every day. If it's weekly, be out there every week.
And is it necessary for small business owners, thought leaders to have become shows as big as like Joe Rogan's, or is it even necessary for, because I know some of these podcasts, they rival the big time networks like NBC and what was the guy, his Tucker Carlson, these guys that kind of left traditional media, have their own podcast now, and now they rival their former networks.
Yeah. So those folks, they came with a following. And so I don't want people to get hung up on, oh God, I only have 20 people following me. But those 20 people want to be there. And so those 20 people can become 40 people. Hey, I was listening to Audrey and Chris. And then they eat those 20 again and become 40, and the 40 become 80. So just concentrate on being you, being authentic, bringing your truths and your guest truths. If you're gonna be an interview show or just a solo producer. So I don't want to compare myself to Oprah and anybody else out there. I look up to her and others. You mentioned folks coming from the industry and coming in and doing podcasting. So that they come with money. Which means they come with a team. And so they're starting at a different place than a lot of us are. And I don't want to get people to get hung up. Oh, I got to have a $5,000 studio set up. You got to rent space. And if you have the money and to do it, then do it. But if you can maintain that, and with that, how is that going to be paid for? Does your customer base that you currently have and the revenues that you have coming in, can they cover an expense like that? And if so, more power to you. I'll be excited to be that. Can I be help me out? No, but yeah, because a lot of times, just like even your traditional social media, you talk about, oh, you got so many followers, you want to be an influencer and all that. But is that the purpose? What is your purpose for doing it?
Yeah, interesting. And the next question I have for you is for the business owners, because now, what I see is there's so much abundance. Like the tools are almost, you're free. All you need is basically a laptop and an internet connection and a camera. I made something that you can even run a podcast off an iPhone. But what advice would you give to a business owner who feels overwhelmed by all of these marketing trends? Like you got Instagram and Reels and YouTube and Shorts and TikTok and LinkedIn, and now you got podcast, email list. How do you, like all these tools and trends in tech, what advice do you give for people just starting out?
Start small. And I know there's an adage that people say, go where your customers are. They're all over the place. And there's some are even on TikTok. And so you may think I serve my avatars like wise women. And that's the bullseye, but there's customers are along the rings of the bullseye, but you'll be surprised where people are. Pick your main ones, pick your LinkedIn, say that's your professional. We like to say that's the professional networking site or the cocktail party. And so find a couple that you can really, especially if you're starting out, you don't have a team, not even a VA. It's just, you have to be able to maintain whatever it is that you start, because even still, you might have a newsletter, you still have to put that out. So there's still time and energy that you have to put into it. So again, my adage is to start small, pick a couple of them, get very good at them. As your money grows, add another one, or maybe add an assistant and tools, because you can, oh my gosh, I'm like, everything's coming out my mouth at the same time. So nothing's coming out, but you have your posting tools. So automation. So you'll be able to, so if you do want to be on 3, 4, or 5 or whatever, so you can upload that content to that platform, and that platform can post it for you. So that way you save time and you're able to get your hands on that, on those different areas in the marketplace, and to be able to see those comments, because some platforms will aggregate the comments, and that way you don't miss anything, because I have missed stuff before.
Yeah, interesting. So to round it out, the other question is, how can people connect with you and follow you and reach out to you and follow you on your social media?
Yes, thank you. So if you go to audreywiggins.com, and it's actually like a link tree. So it's my Popple or digital business cards. You'll have all the different links there, and you'll be able to fan out and find me where you want to connect with me, including the websites. Yeah. So audreywiggins.com.
Yeah. Excellent. Thanks so much for. Oh, well, we do have one final question from the live stream audience. Is you talked about going where your people are, but what about, for example, there's a common fear among entrepreneurs is, I'm focusing all my time on the podcast, but what if I'm missing out people from LinkedIn or Twitter or Substack or even TikTok or Instagram? How do you coach people to handle that fear?
Yeah, you have to balance your time of really where the revenue is coming from. So we all would need to advertise, right? So we think about the podcast, the LinkedIn, those are places that we advertise, but it's also places that will relate. So maybe set your schedule up where the first hour, last hour, or somewhere in the middle that you're going to go and you're gonna scan and you're gonna look for not just for messages to you, because you do want to respond in a timely manner, but also what's Chris doing out there? So you want to hop over to his profile or even go through the notifications and see who said what. Okay. And respond. And when I say respond, just don't put a like. The algorithms like to see things more than they want to see the smiley faces. They want to see the hugs, the loves. Oh, insightful. Maybe it's funny, but they want to have the laugh emoji. But what's more important? That you comment. So do both. Do the engagement with the huggy or the excited or excitement or insightful, I'm trying to say, but also leave a comment. And if it's something that relates to your audience and your followers, share it.
Yeah. Excellent. Thanks so much for coming on, and I really enjoyed this conversation, and keep up the great work.
Yes, thank you. I had a great time, Chris. Really appreciate being here and your encouragement. Well,